You just can't miss all the storylines that are playing out just over the past few weeks. Let's even be more specific. Just since the election. I mean, think about it. Stories of defeat, stories of victory, stories about how one chooses to act in the face of either. Stories about fairness, the lessons of failing, the resilience of democracy, and the strength of the rule of law. Stories abound. And just about anyone who I've asked or listened to in the past few weeks has had an opinion about at least one or more of these characters in one or more of these stories, and how they've been treated, or how they treat others, or what they're doing that's good, or what they're doing that's, yes, evil. And with all of that context set, today I invite you to pause and consider a different part of sharing stories. Now, for as long as you can, I want you to ask yourself, yes, a different kind of question about these things. What is the moral of the story? In other words, what learning are you specifically taking with you and about you from whichever stories you find yourself involved in? After all, the moral of the story is defined as the lesson that we are taught from a story about how to behave in the world. That's worth repeating. The moral is the lesson that we are taught about how to behave in the world. And when you put it in that very important light, I wonder if you see the challenge that we all face going forward from here. Put more succinctly, what is all of this teaching you about you? After all, there are so many ways to see so much wrong in the people in these stories. So what do we make of it? Well, when all else fails, some people know me that I'm going to go find a good old-fashioned quote from long ago to make things a little clearer. And sure enough, in the mid-1700s, there was a rabbi, the Baal Shem Tov, who contended that your fellow man is your mirror. If your own face is clean, the image you perceive will also be flawless. But should you look upon your fellow man and see a blemish, it is your own imperfection that you are encountering. You are being shown what it is that you must correct within yourself. Correct within yourself. Now I ask you, start to bring up some of those stories. Take any of them that you have been recounting since the election or even over the past 4 years and consider what moral, what learning, what correction can you find about yourself? Do you let slip judgment about President Trump or the radical left-wingers or anyone else from the Proud Boys to Nancy Pelosi? Because let's be really candid about this, it's so easy to blame others for the challenges that we face. And if it does find you placing blame on anyone, I invite you to run the story again and use those characters as the mirror that the rabbi imagines. What does that mirror tell you about you? What is your moral that you see on how you can live your life based on what these stories have presented to us all? Because when you look there, you will see that what this country has gone through can actually create valuable, beneficial learning for you that can be sustained and worked on for as long as you want. And that kind of learning will help anyone that chooses to undertake it. So the final question is for today: are you going to look in that mirror of your fellow human beings, or are you going to continue to look away? The choice matters a lot.